I'm currently shooting this video at 5 o'clock this morning, the same day that this video is set to premiere, which is later on today. And I have to be honest, a lot of these cases that I do can be truly mentally draining. I know sometimes I'm guilty of disappearing for 1, 2, and at the most 3 weeks at a time, but I want you guys to understand that that's just purely for mental sanity. You know, a lot of these cases, I become attached to them. When I begin deep diving in these cases and learning about the victim, learning about the circumstances, sometimes I feel like I was right there. And I try my best to put you in the same position. Now, normally around this time is when I pen something. I write something to tie into the story. Sometimes I do folklore and tie that into the story as well. But as I sat down to try to write this morning, I just couldn't think of anything. I'm truly left without a word to say. This is truly one of those cases that take you through every emotion. It'll take you through every stop. Anger, hurt, and some of you, maybe even fear. Fear out of being able to experience the same thing. So this video, I'm just gonna do something different. I'm not gonna try to pin anything wise or tie in a story to tie into this video. I'm merely gonna tell you the story, because the story speaks for itself. January 8th, 2021. The world would make way for Wynter Smith. She would be born to her father AJ and her mother Samari. Although they did conceive a child together, it wouldn't be enough to hold their relationship intact, and they would ultimately go their separate ways, although they would maintain a healthy relationship for their daughter's sake. The place they resided would be the Detroit, Michigan area, although her father did attend college in Tennessee. When Wynter Smith was around 2 months old, her mother Samari would meet another man, a guy who goes by the name of Rashad Trice. Normally in these situations, when a single mother meets a new guy, the beginning is all roses and flowers. However, for this situation, that just wasn't the case. About a month into dating Samari, they would have their first run-in with the law. The police reports from this incident state that Rashad was arguing with Samari about the father of Wynter. This argument would then turn physical, and on May 23rd of 2021, Rashad Trice would be arrested for domestic violence. He would later, in fact, be found guilty of these charges, and he was sentenced to 224 days in jail. But although Rashad was behind bars, separating from Samari would prove to be difficult, because at the time of his incarceration, she was actually pregnant with his child. While Rashad Trice is incarcerated, life goes on as normal. Wynter Smith is slowly but for surely growing into a young, intelligent child. She's described as someone who was very kind. She was very trusting. Even if you were a stranger, she had no problem flashing you a smile. By January of 2022, Wynter would be 1 year old and awaiting the arrival of her little brother. From the moment of his birth, they grew inseparable. She was very happy to be a big sister. A little time passes and the date is now October 31st of 2022. Now, although Rashad Trice was sentenced to 224 days, he accumulated a little more time for a couple of extra charges. So he would actually end up spending a full year in jail, and October 31st of 2022 would be his release date. Upon being released from jail, Samari and Rashad Trice are no longer together, but since they do now have a son, they have to remain cordial for their child's sake. Now, although things were a bumpy ride for them, they managed to make it work, and he would maintain a relationship with his son. In January of 2023, Wynter Cole Smith would officially be 2 years old. By now, she's up walking and talking and entering the stage of what people like to call terrible 2. The age when a young child begins to get curious about any and everything. But although she did have her times of mischief, like all children that age do, she remained a well-behaved child. Like all children her age, she enjoyed the normal things: drawing, watching cartoons, and trying to emulate her mother. At this moment of time, everything seems okay. Wynter Smith has a loving family. She has a great mother. She has a great father who, although attended school in Tennessee, he saw her every chance he got. And even when he was away, he would often keep some of her things and then tell her mother that he forgot to pack them. Although it wasn't true. He just wanted keepsakes to remind him of his daughter while he was off playing college ball. On top of having loving parents, she also had a little brother who was going on 1 at the time that she turned 2. So now she has a little brother who's beginning to be more active. She has a playmate at this point. Again, everything seems great. However, things were about to change. July 2nd, 2023. Samari Cole and her 2 children would be at their apartment located in Lansing, Michigan. On this night, Rashad Trice would show up to her apartment, and he would start an argument. This argument would then spiral out of control. Rashad Trice on this night would then violate Samari Nicole, as well as stabbing her multiple times. Luckily in this situation, an injured Samari would be able to escape and flee to a neighbor's home for help. When police and EMS show up on the scene, Samari lets them know that she has children in the home, and she does in fact provide the police with her attacker. Upon entering her home, the authorities would notice that a 1-year-old boy was located in the residence. However, Rashad Trice was nowhere to be found, but neither was Wynter. The authorities would quickly come to find that Rashad Trice had abducted Wynter Smith and drove away from the scene in Samari's 2013 Chevy Impala. A couple of hours after the disappearance of Wynter Smith, the police would issue an Amber Alert. This Amber Alert would come on July 3rd at 2 a.m. In the Amber Alert, it would describe the vehicle, and it would also describe that she would be located with Rashad Trice. About 2 hours later, at approximately 4:45 a.m., the vehicle of Samari would be spotted in St. Clair. That's about a 20-minute drive from Detroit. Once he's spotted, the authorities would attempt to pull him over. However, as soon as they got behind him and put on their lights, Rashad Trice would flee and later strike a patrol vehicle before ultimately being taken into custody. But there's one problem with this situation. They now have Rashad Trice, but upon further inspection of the vehicle, Wynter Smith is nowhere to be found, and Rashad Trice says she was never with him. Rashad is then arrested and taken to the county jail, but not before making a pit stop at the interrogation room. But when he's taken to the interrogation room, he refuses to cooperate. He doesn't say anything. He requests a lawyer and then requests that he be taken to a cell. July 3rd would come and go, and there was still no word from Wynter or her whereabouts. And by Tuesday, July 4th at 4 p.m., the FBI would have gotten involved in the case, and the FBI and the Lansing Police Department would hold a press conference. They would detail that 2-year-old Wynter Smith is missing, and then announce a $25,000 reward for any information to her whereabouts. Announcing a $25,000 reward did little to help the investigation. Although a few tips were called in, none of them would pan out. By the next day, on Wednesday, July 5th of 2023, at approximately 2:15 p.m., the prosecutors would announce charges against Rashad Trice. However, the charges announced weren't for Wynter Smith, but rather him attacking Samari. With Rashad Trice not cooperating with the FBI as well as the local authorities, they would be forced to wait on his cell phone records. After receiving his location data, they would begin searching the areas in which his phone pinged. And by 7 p.m. on that day, the police would be conducting a search near Olympia Street and Irwin Avenue when they would make a horrible discovery. While canvassing that area, the FBI would come across an alleyway that was overgrown with weeds. While searching the dense alleyway, they would come across an object. However, upon further inspection, they would come to realize that it wasn't an object at all, and that it was, in fact, the body of 2-year-old Wynter Smith.
At approximately 6:50 p.m. this evening, the body of Wynter Cole Smith was recovered by FBI agents. This is not the outcome we were hoping for, and our hearts go out to Wynter's family. Based on information developed throughout this investigation, our teams were searching multiple areas across the state over and over again, and then specifically in the area adjacent to where we're standing. Our evidence response team is currently processing the scene. This will be a thorough and deliberate crime scene investigation. It will take time to carefully collect evidence that we need to help bring the person responsible to justice.
90 hours into the disappearance of 2-year-old Wynter Smith, and the authorities now have an answer as to her whereabouts to give to the family. However, it wasn't the outcome they were hoping for. But the circumstances surrounding this case makes this situation a lot worse. And let me explain. As I stated in the beginning of this story, on May 23rd of 2021, Rashad Trice would be arrested and charged with domestic violence, in which he would be sentenced to 224 days. However, those charges would come later. When Rashad Trice was initially arrested, he would be released. Now, the reports don't state whether he was released on bond or on his own recognizance. However, days after being released, he would have another run-in with the law. His first incident occurred on May 23rd of 2021. However, by May 31st of 2021, he would be arrested in a completely different county. He would be in Clinton County when he would be arrested for obstruction and resisting. But that's not it. By August of 2021, he would be arrested for assault on police officers and obstruction again. And this charge would occur in a completely different county, which is Livingston County. So at this point, he has an active DV case against his ex-girlfriend Samari. But a few days later, he's arrested in Clinton County for assaulting police officers, obstructing justice, and resisting arrest. He would receive a total of 93 days in the county jail. Now, as for the charges that he accumulated in Livingston County, he would only receive 2 years, not of jail time, but 2 years of probation. Now, as I stated, he served 224 days for the DV, plus the 93 days that he accumulated for the charges in Clinton County, which made him serve almost a full year in jail, in which he would be released on October 31st of 2022. And roughly 9 months after being released from jail is when he would commit the act against Samari and Wynter Smith. After being charged with the death of Wynter Smith, he would finally speak to the FBI, and he would explain that on the evening of July 2nd of 2023, he went over to Samari's home. He says that upon arriving over there, they began arguing about money. But that's all he told the police. because after telling them that they were arguing about money, he clams up again and he doesn't say another word. However, although he's not talking, on July 20th of 2023, the official autopsy results would be released, and they're very telling. Police allege that he went over to the home of Samari on July 2nd at 11:19 p.m. He then argued, violated the mother, stabbed her, and then abducted 2-year-old Wynter Smith. When Wynter Smith was abducted, shortly afterwards, he took a pink cell phone cord and he used that item to commit strangulation. Police know this to be a fact because when she was discovered, the cord was still around her neck. After committing the act, this monster then took her lifeless body to the dense alleyway in which she was found in, and then he discarded of her like she was no more than a piece of trash.
We're going to go now to the man accused of kidnapping 2-year-old Wynter Cole Smith, making his first appearance today in federal court. 26-year-old Rashad Trice is charged with kidnapping resulting in death. The toddler, taken from her home in Lansing, found dead days later on Detroit's east side, and just touched the hearts of all of us.
This morning, Rashad Trice made an appearance here at the federal courthouse in Grand Rapids for a preliminary hearing. The 26-year-old walked in orange, chained at the hips, wrists, and ankles as police began to detail the nightmare that unfolded last week. After Trice waived his right to a bond hearing, FBI Special Agent Christopher Rodlico took the stand Tuesday, detailing hour by hour the police search for Trice and 2-year-old Wynter Cole Smith.
What happened to 2-year-old Wynter Smith is devastating. It's completely tragic all around. For her to lose her life at 2 years old, an age where you haven't even begun to live, but to be taken out by the hands of someone that you most likely trusted is a lot worse. My heart goes out to the family. I can't imagine what they're going through. I truly hope that she receives the justice that she deserves. Rest in peace, Wynter Smith. Thank you for being a light for others.